Hello, everyone, and today I'd like to do an amazing book review on a very cool book. It's called The Magic of Thinking Big, and I want to share with you the big ideas from that book. The first one is the importance of thinking big and believing that everything is possible. In fact, David Schwartz, the author of the book The Magic of Thinking Big, tells us to eliminate the word impossible from our vocabulary and really valuing and believing in ourselves, because if we don't believe in ourselves, nobody's going to believe in us. If we think we cannot do something, others are going to think similarly. So it's very important to believe something is possible and really believing that you have the abilities to achieve it. He mentions something called excusitis in his book, which is most people do. They make excuses for their goals and they're not clear on whatever it is that they want to achieve. And David Schwartz says that you have to be clear on whatever it is that you want to achieve. And Stephen Covey, of course, mentions that in his book too, right? That you have to keep your end, right, kind of in mind, right? So which means you have to know, kind of doing that scenario of the end of your life, and you're looking back and what it is that you want to be, that you want to have already achieved in your life, right? So setting goals and really having that tension, right, as Viktor Frankl mentioned, between your current state and your actual state. I mean, between your current state and your ideal state, and therefore, um, it, and therefore not setting excuses for you to achieve that end goal. So keeping your end state and your end, right, keeping your end goals in mind and not making excuses about it, right? I don't have time, etc. And he also mentions a phrase, stickability, which means sticking with it, because 90% of our ability comes even more from actually sticking with something long term. That's what's called stickability, and being persistent with whatever it is that you want to do. So actually going for it long term, being consistent, is actually very important in terms of success. And he also mentions the importance of taking action to overcome fear and actually acting confidently. If you act confidently and if you take action, that's going to dissolve the fear. And that's really important. So if you have fear as an excuse, for example, then you can actually start taking action. And by taking these baby steps, your fear, it's kind of, you're being exposed to it, your fear is going to dissolve. And so thinking big is really important. He also mentions the big idea of having positive memories. That can be accomplishments from the past, or just being grateful and appreciative for whatever it is that you have in your life, right? Rewiring our consciousness, a big idea that I mentioned many times already. And David Schwartz says that brings us positive deposits. Anytime we ruminate about small things in the past and worry, well, that brings us negative deposits. It's like a bank account. So you wanna fill it in with positive deposits and actually take action to achieve your goals. That helps dissolve the fear, avoid making excuses, and really believing that it's possible, believing that you're capable of doing, believing and valuing in yourself as well. That's very, very important. And he also mentions the idea, and this is the last one that I'll mention, is acting as if. So act as if you're already healthy,